lovely simmers, SimsEclaire here and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are taking a brief break from my save file. I was getting a little, I don't know, builder's block, I guess, having to build in Oasis Springs for many builds and having to do, you know, that modern style, because you all know modern is not my favorite, nor is it my forte. So I was getting a little bit of builder's block. I wanted to take a brief little break just to kind of freshen my mind and get some things kind of off my chest, because I've been wanting to build one of these, I've been wanting to build a more family style home literally since I started my save file. I was like, oh, but all of these homes are so pretty and I want to build one, and then I was like, but I can't because I'm doing all these modern builds. So this was kind of like a little bit of a brief reprieve for me, and I hope you guys don't mind. I don't know, I didn't want my channel to get stale either, so I wanted to kind of shake things up just a little bit. But going into the build, the shape of the house is really quickly came together. I mean, it's already done, and it's a very basic kind of farmhousey suburban style of a build. And I do actually make this a semi-functional farm, so they have, well, obviously we don't have farms in The Sims, but they have a non-functional garden plot in their backyard, and then they have functional garden like spaces. You'll see what I mean when we get to the backyard, but and I'm sure you could kind of see it in that little screenshot video towards the beginning. But there is two different types of garden areas here, so this is definitely a farmhouse. I did expect the people who would be living here to be very, you know, nature oriented, love being outside, love planting, love gardening things, and yeah. And then we're real quickly just adding some roof trims and making everything kind of look finished and pretty and perfect. You can kind of tell that I'm sure you can tell that I changed the location that we were building this. So I initially put this in a Brindleton Bay because that's the area that screams farmhouse to me, but I really wasn't liking how the lighting looked. I don't know what it was. I kept changing the time of day, and I like rotated it on the lot, and then I even changed lots in Brindleton Bay, and I just was not liking how let's just say it wasn't looking how I wanted this house to look. So I did decide to move it. We are now building in Newcrest, and we are building in the evening time because I liked how the sun looked against the front of the house here, and I thought that it just kind of brought the colors out a little bit better. It made it look more how I wanted it to look, how I envisioned it looking in my mind, let's put it that way. And then we are adding the windows now, and I'm using a mix of cats and dogs and base game windows. So the base game windows are the ones with the shutters, and I thought that added a little bit more texture to the house. I don't usually use windows with shutters because I don't like them. I don't know. It's not that I don't like them in real life, but you know, you can't use the shutters in the Sims game, so I don't really see a purpose for them. But here I thought they definitely made the house look a little bit more farmhousey. And then I'm also adding some of these debug ivy plants, so that way the house has a little bit of overgrowth on it. You know, you can tell the house has been here for a while. It's probably gone through quite a few generations of this family. And the house itself has 3 bedrooms, so they have a couple of generations going on the inside of the home right now as well. There isn't a room for any elders, so I did think that the family business had probably already passed on to the next generation. Or you guys could add elders, and it could be elders raising kids, but there's definitely 2 kids' bedrooms and an adult bedroom, so that's, but it's up to you on how, like, what stage of adulthood do you want to be living in this house with the kids. And then we're adding a couple more plants over on this side of the house. This area does end up changing a little bit because I do end up moving the house forward to give myself a little bit more space in the backyard for some planting areas and some gardening areas. And I also end up changing the windows a little bit. Right here, you're going to see me place this giant window here that ends up being the living room. And I didn't like how the giant window looked in terms of like spacing in the house, so I did decide to go ahead and change that, which you'll see in just a minute, because now we are on the interior. So right here by the front door area, I get one of the cats and dogs rugs that I absolutely love, and then a coat rack. And I'm about to clutter up this side table just a little bit. The house doesn't actually have as much clutter as I usually put, but I definitely thought that this family would spend most of their time outside. Probably not really like indoor people. I did give them a TV, but one of the kids living in here is a toddler, so I thought maybe, you know, while the parents are working in the yard, maybe the kid watched some TV or something, or maybe while the one kid was doing their homework, they had the TV on in the background. I did think that for purposes of gameplay with children, I thought having a TV might work a little bit better. And then over here I got a parenthood board, and then the Seasons umbrella. And then I also added a Seasons thermostat in here as well. And as of right now, this house does have curtains in it. Now, I'm sure you guys have noticed a lot of times when I place curtains, I end up forgetting about them about halfway through the build, and then the rest of the house does not have curtains, or they have different curtains than what the first half of the build had. I do apologize about that. Before I upload them to the gallery, I try and go back and fix it and remember that I did that. It's just, curtains are not something I usually think about. In fact, I never built with curtains before I started doing builds for my channel. And so it's still kind of like ingrained in me to just forget that they exist. But I am working on it, I promise. And then over here is the kind of like downstairs bathroom. It's just a half bath. There's no shower or anything. It's just a toilet and a sink. And this is the only bathroom downstairs, but there is 2 upstairs. So definitely good for gameplay. And there is one of them has... Actually, they might both have, I can't remember, but at least one of them has a bathtub as well, because I did think that this family would have a cat and a dog, and then like I said, one of the rooms is built for a toddler, so it does have, at least one of them has a bathtub that you can use to bathe the dog and the toddler. And then going over here into the family room, I really liked how kind of like the yellow creamish color of the curtains matched the yellow color on this couch here. I do end up changing the base color of the couch. I end up going with the white and yellow instead of the blue and yellow, because I just, the bright blue wasn't really sitting well with me in terms of the rest of the color scheme for this house. But I did want to try and use the new furniture, because after I did all my builds that were like strictly for the paranormal stuff pack, I jumped right into my save file, and I haven't really used any of the new furniture in that save file yet. So I did want to try and use it here, especially in terms of this being like a generational family. Kind of, the chair or the couch looks like it's a little bit of an older style. It has those throw pillows and throw blankets over it as well. So I thought that kind of definitely, you know, matched the style. And then I paired it with this jungle adventure chair, because the legs of this couch have the exact same color as this chair, and then the cushion is white and the pillow was like a yellow and orange, so I thought it definitely matched rather well with this couch, and I wasn't expecting it to work as well as it did, but I'm pleasantly happy with it. And then over here I did use some of the hanging plants from the new pack as well, just to kind of fill in the space and make it look a little bit more lush and green on the inside as well as how I had it on the outside. And then I am looking for a couple more decorations to place. I do end up deleting this candy jar, and I go for the tea tray that we got with the new pack instead, just because it filled up the table more, and I thought it made more sense in terms of this family. I wasn't quite sure why they would have a candy jar from ghosts if, you know, the house wasn't haunted. And then in here, this is the living room. Wow, no, dining room. This is the dining room, Emily. We just decorated the living room. Okay, so this is the dining room, and I used one of the small parenthood tables with the parenthood chairs as well. Just kind of, and I don't usually do this, but I thought I don't know. I thought that the color scheme looked really nice, even though they weren't exactly matching colors. I try to do very matchy dining room chairs to tables in my living rooms, but I thought that it looked nice because the wood and the chairs matched the wood on the walls, and then the lighter tone wood matched the cushions on the chairs, so I thought that it kind of just, you know, it fit in the room rather nicely. And especially because this isn't an overly fancy family, I thought that it kind of fit their aesthetic a little bit better as well. And then in here in the kitchen, we are using my favorite Parenthood stuff. We are using the counters and the stove from Parenthood, and then I think that's a base game refrigerator. And then I'm adding a couple of cabinets on this side of the on this side of the kitchen, but I don't have any. Oh, just kidding. I put one right above the refrigerator, but obviously I didn't put any over the windows. And then I'm adding a hood for the stove, and then just a couple of decorations on the counters. Not too much. There isn't a whole lot of room to work with. There's only one usable counter in this kitchen, which for a family of 4 is a little bit iffy, but in my Let's Play I'm making it work, so you know what, we're just gonna have them make it work here in this build as well. And then I'm adding a rug, and I do end up adding another kind of more relaxed sitting area in here for the family. It's a round table, has exactly 4 chairs, so one for every member of the family. And I thought that maybe they had breakfast here, because this does have an outdoor entrance, or has an entrance into the laundry room, which then has an outdoor entrance to the garden. So I thought that maybe the parents had breakfast here before they went out to go work in the garden, and maybe they made their kids some nice breakfast before they went off to school and stuff like that. So I definitely thought that this was more of like a breakfast nook, and then the other one was used for special occasions and holidays and stuff. And then in here, like I said, they do have a laundry room, which kind of double like functions as a mud room, because they come right in from the outside with their gardening, and then they come in here for the laundry. And I thought that made the most sense, because if they were super muddy or super dirty from the laundry, then they would just, you know, throw all their clothes in the laundry machine right there. And then upstairs now, we are in the parents' bedroom. So I cut out a couple of the hallways just because the video was looking a little long, and hallways aren't really necessary in terms of viewer, like, you don't, they're there, we all know that they're there, we all know that I probably put a plant in a corner and a table in another corner, so I really don't think you guys need to see me decorate every single hallway. If you do want to see that though, let me know and I'll stop cutting them out, but I feel like the main rooms are definitely a little bit more important in terms of seeing, instead of, you know, just random hallways. But over here we have quite a little cramped area for the dresser and a mirror, and I placed a couple of decorations on the dresser as well. And then I added a seating area up here. I thought maybe one of the parents liked to read at night before they went to bed, or maybe they sat here while they got ready in the morning and talked about, you know, their business for the day, what they had to get done, maybe if one of them was going to take a trip to the farmer's market or something like that. And then upstairs, or in here in the ensuite bathroom, they have a shower bath combo, and then their toilets over there in that little alcove that I built. And I do end up putting the toddler potty in that bathroom because I forgot to put it in the hallway bathroom upstairs for the kids, and I didn't think I was gonna have enough space to keep the bathroom functional, so I did decide to add the toddler potty into the parents' bedroom. And I mean, it kind of makes sense because the parents are obviously going to be the person who is potty training the kid, so having it in their bathroom isn't necessarily nonsensical. Doesn't not make sense. Let's put it that way. And then in here, this is the actual kids' bedroom. So it's a little bit of like a blue and purple and white theme. Has a whole bunch of dogs and cat stuff around. A lot, really nature themed. Definitely thought that they were gonna take out to their parents. Probably run the family farm when their parents were done and stuff like that. And then over here in the toddlers room, I did give them this cream colored dinosaur wallpaper, and I paired it with the eco lifestyle bed that we got for toddlers. And then I tried to do this little reading nook over here. It ends up getting moved around a little bit just in terms of functionality, because I realized I placed the bed in like the middle of the wall when I very well could have just placed it against, like, closer to the back of the house versus the front of the house, and then had like an extra little corner at the bottom of the bed. So I do end up changing things around just to make sure the Sims have plenty of space to function and move around. And then on the dresser, I placed just a couple of decorations, one of the toddler iPads, so that way the kid could have some games and some fun stuff to play. And now we're on to the backyard. So at first I placed a couple of benches up here, but then I realized I probably wasn't gonna have enough space for a whole seating area down here on the lower deck, so I did place just a couple of couches. Of course, you know, then I ended up with enough space for a whole seating area, so I kind of have two seating areas over here. Kind of don't really care. I mean, I'm sure that if the elders of the family are still alive, I'm sure they come by quite a bit. Maybe they watch the kids while the parents are working in the gardens and stuff like that. So I didn't think having too many outdoor areas was really that big of an issue. And then going over here to the left is where the non-functional garden plot is going to be. So I kind of fill the whole space in with dirt. And then I used a debug kind of crop thing. I don't know exactly what their purpose is because I've never seen them in the world before, but they look like this. They basically look like different lettuces and cabbages, but they're not functional. But I thought that that kind of, it made it look a little bit more like a real farm, and then it also kept your Sims from having to do too much gardening, because I tend to overplant for Sims and then they don't have enough time in the day to actually, you know, functionally garden in this area. So I did give them a little bit of a garden area for them to actually function with, and then a non-functional one as well, just for aesthetic purposes. But besides that, that is it for this build, so I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye!